There's so much going on, and after work, I probably won't be able to make a video, and then tomorrow I work all day, so, um, there is a lot going on, but I wanted to talk about well, this coming week, we all need to stay in grace, as they say, because or whatever that means. That sounds good, but, not freak out, basically, would be my technical terminology. Don't freak out because, one, if, things are gonna get crazy, they're gonna get crazy. I personally believe that there is angelic and a realm that is helping us out. And so this week, if you haven't heard, 45 talks about how he's going to have this liberation, which is crazy. He knows what he's saying. He's referring the direct opposite of us liberating. My daughter's running by. She's doing gardening and she's running by. She's so happy out there. Um, I'll move it because I don't want to embarrass her. Anyway, Trump and this liberation. Okay. He's referring to how not only Americans but other countries went to liberate the Jewish people from the Hitler and it pretty much began the end of World War II and all of that whole thing. So him saying we're gonna have liberation, he knows what he's saying. He knows that he's gaslighting us. He knows that he's a terrorist, and he's using this term as a taunt. Uh, that we're afraid, that we're actually afraid. And well, who's he liberating us from? The other countries, from our allies, from whatever. And then he's saying words like whoops, freedom seeds and which are bullets, and had a post on the White House website that said, with no context, so nobody knows who it was about. Some people said it was about Iran or something, but no context. It just said, we will hunt you and we will kill you. So it's that he knows the significance of April, and that April is the time when there was the Oklahoma City bombing, and there was the guy at church, the Waco, Texas thing, which Trump had a rally there last year. Remember that? He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's saying. Trump is a terrorist for entertainment purposes only. He's a terrorist. So we're gonna have marches this week, April 5th. There's gonna be a lot of marches today. It's not just April 5th. Then I think that 45 is trying to scare everybody, and then he's trying to have these freedom cities, which is the exact opposite of the meeting. The meaning would be freedom, but they want the elite to take over and make all of us their slaves and take all our money, watch us starve and die and disease and all these other things. What a lovely person. Um, but I'll say that phrase again, stay in grace, because I do believe in angelic protection, and I do believe that we have a lot more for us than against us. And it really has gone too far. Like when I saw that note from him on the White House website today that said, I just thought, really? Isn't this enough? Have we not been tortured enough by this guy? Can we not be set free from him? Can someone do something? Impeach him, remove him? I would think that if Obama had used the White House website and had said, I will find you and kill you, or we will find you and kill you, would he not have been held accountable for that? Would that have gotten just flew by as a nothing? No. But we know who we're dealing with, and it's like his enablers know who they're dealing with. Won't do anything about it, and that's probably the most upsetting thing. I do think the Supreme Court to realize that they have to hold him accountable, or um, he's going to come after them. So the time is now. Stay in grace. Okay, so Elon Musk and his election raffle. When I saw that, and Wisconsin is fighting back, he already had to change his posts and reword things. This is exactly what he did in Pennsylvania before the November 5th event. He had these raffles, and then they said it's illegal because we don't allow gambling. And they said, oh well, it's not really a thing because these are PAC members and they know about it. No one actually gets $1 million each. He lied, and then to get out of trouble, he admitted that it was all fake. The people know what's happening. It's just to lure in voters, but no one actually gets $1 million. There is no raffle. It's a scam. So they're shutting that down. They should shut down everything he does because everything that Levon does is meant to interfere with the election. And Wisconsin is having this upcoming election. But he is being held accountable. People are seeing through it. They are. Um, okay. I was just saying this morning, and I've been talking about it for a while. That because I said, if they're just going to allow Trump to take over and destroy the Constitution, what's to stop us from having Democrats from having our own counter government? I mean, we won the Civil War. The Yankees won the Civil War. So what's to keep us from having our own government leadership? Because we can't have this. We can't have what Trump is doing. We can't have it. He's destroying the Constitution. He's hurting people. He's having people kidnapped. Um, okay. And I said, we need somebody. We need a leader. And I thought maybe Kamala would come forward, but she wasn't. And then I noticed that Tim Walz was starting to come forward. This is months ago. And I thought, he's the guy. He's the guy that's going to do it. But then Bernie and AOC came out, and I thought, well, maybe they're going to do it. Maybe they're going to, but no, it's Tim Walz. And I said on his page one time, you're acting more like a president than you know who, and we should all listen to you. And so, and then even this morning, I got the thought intuitively, we because no one is doing anything about Trump. No one's holding him accountable. No one's when we talk about if he's going to have these threats against us, then the military has to step forward. But then no one can call the military forward. You have to have a leader. So we have to have a Democratic leader. And then I thought, well, it can't be Kamala. One, she doesn't seem to want to be. Two, um, you, no one's, as I said, we're just not ready for a female president yet. I wanted a female president twice. Um, but apparently we're not ready yet. Even on the Republican side, they're not ready because MTG is really vocal and strong and horrible, but they won't even let her have a place of high power. Um, so we need to match fire with fire. So that would be it'd have to be a man. And so I thought, well, what man is going to step forward and take charge of the Democratic Party? And hot damn, Tim Walz stepped forward and said he'll create a shadow government. Not a bad. It's good. It's what you have to do to save this country. We have to save the Constitution and democracy. And so I thought that was really interesting. I literally had wrote that post, and Walz came out and said that he's going to have his own shadow government. Now, you say, well, that sounds bad. It's not. Think about how you have to fight fire with fire. Every action has a counteraction. So the counteraction right now is that 45 is this horrible antichrist doing everything the opposite of what is good and healthy and positive in this world. And I mean, literally the direct opposite. And so, what's the opposite of that? Somebody that would do good and follow the Constitution and preserve our freedoms and have not kidnap people off the streets and send them to prison camps. So that's we've got to have our counteraction, and that would be Waltz. He's going to be the guy. Okay, Greenland. They said, well, you don't want us here, but we're gonna get here. We're gonna go anyway. JD Vance and Usha Vance. Guess what? They said, everybody was saying, don't let them in your country. And that's kind of what happened. Everyone in Greenland said, you can't come here. They even shut down on the tarmac. They said, you can't leave. You can't. So Greenland got wise and said, no one gets past here. You are not coming in here. And they couldn't even get one person to come welcome them. That's how much Greenland hates them and hates the whole Trump organization. Um, now, why is Trump and JD Vance and others forcing their way in? Remember, I can grab them by the key, and when you're a star, they let you do it. Don't even ask them, just do it. That's Trump's motto for everything. That's what he's doing to Greenland. It's what he's trying to do to Canada. It's not going to work. No, it's because Putin wants that upper corridor that's all up there, connects to Russia, and it connects to North America all the way down. Putin wants all of that. He's wanted it forever. And with his Krasnov, he's trying to get it to take over Greenland, Alaska, Canada, into North America, all of it. Okay, Zelensky, he says Putin is dying. And just like an hour ago, I saw something that said one of the top security limos that carries Putin around exploded. Now, I don't think he was in it, but see how it's getting closer to happening. And Spirit told me, it was yesterday, I heard intuitively. Do you remember in The Wizard of Oz when Dorothy goes to Oz after the tornado, the house, show her how her house fell on the Wicked Witch of the East, and the feet are all shriveled up, and they give her the shoes and all that stuff. Spirit said the Wicked Witch of the East, and he said the Wicked Witch of the East will go first, and then the Wicked Witch of the West will go after. I feel like that's Trump. That Putin's going to go first, and Trump's going to go after for whatever reason, whatever way. I don't wish anyone harm, but that's what Spirit said to me. I do believe that Putin is on his way out, and because the universe is done with him and all of this. Now, Trump's voting restrictions, he's, first of all, let me say this. If you won, like he says, I won 2016, I won 2020, I won the time, I won 2024. If you won, then why are you making it so people can't vote? Why are you trying to delete people from voter rolls? Why are you trying to make people not be able to vote? Why? You, why would you stop people from voting? It makes no sense unless you understand he didn't actually win, and he's afraid that next time he won't win again, like the midterms and et cetera, and all that. Yeah, a clear conscience makes a soft pillow. He is clearly bothered. He knows he lost. A person who knows he lost, is obsessed with never losing again. A narcissist is. So he's doing all these things. You've got to have your birth certificate. You got to have just the same thing. I feel like all the stuff they're doing to the people with Social Security. You got to get in here with your wheelchair and prove that you're a citizen. And then they're like, I went in there. Somehow I got in. And they still wouldn't give me my Social Security. I feel like he's using that as a test. One, he's stealing money with Elon. But I feel like it's a test to see how many people just give up and how to stop people from being able to vote. Now, here's the thing. If you take away people's right to have Social Security and their ability to vote, because you say, oh, you can't show you're a citizen, then why is anyone getting taxed? Why is anyone being able to be accepted into the army? Hell, you have to even have those things to register your kids for school. So, and why don't they have that in the system? If you go, uh, it's in the system. If, let's say tomorrow I were to disappear, they'd have fingerprints. Um, what? And they'd have my birth certificate. Anyway, he's he's doing it because he knows he lost, and he's afraid of losing again. So he's trying to make it impossible for any Democrat to ever vote against him ever again. Courts are holding firm. I mean, we're going to have some people who are loyalists. That's true, but the courts are holding firm, and that's exactly what we expected and hoped for, and it is happening. Oh, okay. And we do have angelic protection, so I'll end it on this because I got to get ready for work. It's not easy. Yeah, I got 15 minutes. Um, we are protected, and people are saying that these march. I guess on April 5th there's going to be a big march, and they're saying if you're minority, which I hate that word, but um, if you are someone that would be you look like you're an immigrant, etc., don't go to the marches because you could get rounded up. Which is such a horrible thing, but that's the reality that we're in now. Let the quote unquote white people or whatnot go and fight this battle. I kind of hate that whole thing. I hate that. But people are saying we don't want someone to go and like an immigrant and go and be deported at these rallies. We want to go and I don't know, but I'm just saying that's what I heard. And speaking of that, this is all for entertainment purposes only. I was watching a video on TikTok and they were saying how if the ICE, and you know ICE, what that is, if they go and they have a warrant, it has to be signed by a judge. And they were saying, don't come out of your house, let them slide it under the door, and also that it expires after 2 weeks. Don't open the door. You know, these ICE people, they're wearing masks. They're not even, that's how, I mean, if this was something that was on the up and up, they could show their face. We're in the upside down. But yeah, you don't have to open the door. Let him put it under the door. It has to be signed by a judge. So, angelic protection. Use invisibility spells on yourself. Have Archangel Michael protect you. Put a bubble of protection around yourself. And lastly, I want to talk about again. You know, I was in, as a child, my father was in a religious cult and I was exposed to it. And so I feel like there's a lot of this that I'm watching that reminds me of that. Because this is a cult. And I've always been fascinated with Jim Jones, I think because of that, because of what I saw with my father. And these are very broken people, narcissists, sociopathic, which these are all disorders. I have compassion for those people. I actually have compassion for Jim Jones. As horrible as he was, I actually do have compassion for him. Um, and but it's just uncanny. The videos I've been watching about Jim Jones and the audio tapes and movies and people's accounts of what he was like and the things that he did, my God, it matches up to 45 perfectly. Um, he had, he was starving his, so someone said they had gone to the People's Church at Guyana and the People's Church followers were skin and bones because they weren't eating. While Jim Jones was fat because he had food. He had a stash of food. He had cocaine. He had food. He had money. He had guns. And he would do these death drills to make you think that, so that you would be in this, like, willing to die or just, you know, I feel like 45 does it to us all the time when it threatens us. Like this post today, um, that's Jim Jones. There's so many correlations between things that Jim Jones did. And they're like, well, Jim Jones was a socialist. No, he was a narcissist. Like 45 is not a Republican. He's a narcissist. They're narcissists. They're not a party. They just use these to get the people that they saw a crack in these people's psyche and they got in because they were empty, right? And they have this power, this narcissistic problem where they have to have all these people love. And guess what? Okay, here's Jim Jones had after the mass genocide, they found amongst his things people of his church. He was taking their social security checks, ding ding ding, and their passports. Let me repeat that. Jim Jones had people's social security checks and passports. It's so similar. Go watch. Go watch videos about Jim Jones. Listen to the audio. Listen to people. He had drugs. He was drugged up. He actually didn't believe in God, but he went to church one time and he said, "I like how everyone's idolizing God, idolizing the preacher. I want to be. I want people to love me the way they love God." That's how 45 is. He thinks he's God. He doesn't believe in God. He wants to be God. He thinks he is God. Um, yeah, go watch Jim Jones. I swear to God, they're identical. I swear. You know, I wouldn't say that, but it's like an archetype. But I almost would say they're the same person. That Jim Jones and 45 are like a twin soul. They're, it's like the same entity. I also, like I've talked about, 45's past life, I do think it is connected to Hitler. And I also go about Mr. Gore. From Frederick Douglass's accounts of being a slave, he describes a man called Mr. Gore. That was that was 45 to a T. And I believe fully that 45 was King Henry VIII. So I'll leave it at that. Okay, well, one of my predictions. My predictions are, as I said, we need a leader in the Democratic Party, Tim Walz. That is Tim Walz. And we have angelic protection, but you have to pray. You have to. You have to, or manifest. Um, and don't let 45's threats get to you. He is trying to scare us. See, that's the thing. He's doing these death drills all the time to scare us. He's trying to make people think that he's going to finish this project 2025, his Mein Kampf, in a couple weeks. No, it's not going to happen. And we are not going to have martial law. That's not going to happen. Not here in America. I'm telling you, people have, Democrats have guns, just so you know. It's not just Republicans that have guns. And it's just not going to happen. We are being guided and protected. It could be better. It could be worse. It could be way worse. And he is being stopped by the courts. I predict, here's my big prediction. The Supreme Court. The Supreme Court, not all everyone there, but people like Amy Berman Jackson are starting to hold firm against 45 because they have seen the receipts. They have seen the truth of his behavior. They saw the Epstein files. They know who he is. It's like in the people search Jim Jones, some people liked him because he was a radical, because he could fight against, the government. And other people said, man, that guy's crazy. Even his own son said, I loved my dad. My God, he was crazy. People in the Supreme Court, like Amy Berman Jackson and others, are starting to turn because they see that there's something really wrong with 45 and what he's doing. And they actually do, believe it or not, have some respect for law. And I mean, it's pretty obvious. So I believe they're going to fight back, knowing that if they don't do it now, they may not have a chance later on. So I think we're going to see more of that this week. And also the whole election thing, like I said, oh, here's the thing. So 45 says no more mail-in ballots and no more counting ballots after blah, blah, blah. One of the things that they did in Pennsylvania in November was, I don't know if you remember this, but when Lelon had his whole website that fished out, this is before he did the lottery with $1 million, which he's trying to do in Wisconsin. He had these fake websites that fished Democrat registration information. And then he produced all these fake mail-in ballots that they had to stop in Lancaster County. Do you remember this? I remember I pointed it out on my page here, and I said, before the election, I said, there's weird stuff going on in Lancaster County, and we need to watch out for that. There's fraudulent ballots. And then, so here's what they said. Oh, yeah, there's all these fraudulent ballots. Don't worry, you can vote on election day in person. And that was the trick, is to make it so that people couldn't vote with their mail-in. Because here's the thing about mail-in ballots. They'd be counted after the cheat code on the tabulators on election night. They'd be counted for days. And Trump's plan was to have the election called by the networks early by about 8 p.m. That was his plan. And the mail-in ballots would be counted after. So ruin all the mail-in ballots. Have people come vote on person. And so what happened was, and I said, they're probably not going to be able to vote in person. I bet you something's going to happen. And sure enough, all day in Pennsylvania, bomb threats. And every time they tried to reopen after the bomb threat was cleared, they went to court, like Roger Stone went to court, said, no, you can't open the voting booth, blah, 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 unconstitutional. And so a whole bunch of people, voters, were not allowed to vote on election. These are people who had been disadvantaged by these fake mail-in ballots. 45 wants everyone to vote early and on the day of. So their votes go through the tabulator sheet, where the tabulators are open for entertainment purposes only on election day, and then they all go through the cheat code, whereas he wins. And then it's called early, which is what happened in November. They don't want mail-in ballots because those are counted afterwards, and they don't go through the open tabulator. I'm telling you. Is what Spirit told me, and this is what happened. I feel it'll be overturned. It's unconstitutional. We have the time to do it now, and I think that's something the Supreme Court is going to talk about this week. So that's my prediction. Thanks for listening. I got to get ready for work. Mhm.